Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger. Once again, I'm back from my vacation. I'm time to review some films. This month is going to be June, which is movies from the last 100 years, meaning every movie that came out for the past 100 years, 1919 to 2019. So every film that I haven't reviewed yet is eligible, except certain things like I'm not reviewing any porn. I'm not reviewing any short films. I'm not reviewing any religious movies, and I'm also not reviewing any fan movies. So all of that is out because I'm not wasting my time with that. But feature films, mainstream, independent, direct to video, all of it uh, is freaking eligible. We're gonna start the month strong with a superhero movie that came out last year in December of 2018, which I missed. It's an awesome movie, but I do have some issues with it, and that is the Marvel animated film that won an Oscar this year, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Yes, the Miles Morales vehicle. Basically, I wanted to review this before Far From Home comes out because it is Spider-Man. So this movie was freaking awesome. I can see why it won an Oscar. I can see why it got such huge fan praise and critical acclaim. And Lord and Miller, you did a better thing with this than Solo. Lucasfilm, they freaking rejected you because you're too good. The two of you have made some of the best films in this decade. You did films that should not have worked, and you made them great. 21 Jump Street, the Lego movie, the first one. The second one, I didn't even want to bother with. And now you have this movie that you produced. There were three directors in this movie. Three. I've never heard of more than two directors for a one feature film and not like an anthology film. But yeah, the movie, I can understand why it was well regarded. I mean, it is a little bit long. I will say this. For an animated film, it is a little long in the tooth, especially in the middle where there's some slow spots, but I'll get to that. The film cost 90 million and it made 375.5 million. That's a huge hit, guys. And yeah, I did have my issues with it. I'll address them now. The third act, I thought that some of the animation was a little bit too like in my face. It was hard to adjust to it. It's like when they're going into different dimensions and the animation is like really like fast, and it was a little bit much for me. I felt like I was tripping on acid. And also, some of the characters kind of get underused in the film. I did like the main cast. I thought Miles Morales, Shamik Moore did a great freaking job. He adds a lot of depth to Miles, and he gives him a personality that's different from Peter Parker. He's nervous around girls like Peter Parker, but he doesn't take pictures like Peter Parker does. And he has like rap music that he listens to. I like the soundtrack in the movie that he listens to. And yeah, he's rebellious, and I like that. And he's different than Peter Parker. It's not like I was watching a copy. Jake Johnson, I liked him as Peter B. Parker, another Spider-Man from another universe. He brought a lot of gravitas to that role, and I like him in Let's Be Cops, and he was one of the only good things in the Mummy 2017. And yeah, you also have Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy, aka Spider Gwen. Awesome choice. I love her voice. I don't like Gwen's hairstyle, like it's a full lesbian hair. I'm getting sick of that. They did that with Captain Marvel and Batwoman and all that. I'm sick of that hair, guys. When a woman looks like this, there is a problem. Unless you're from Wakanda, you should not have a man's haircut. It's just not gonna fly. But her voice is fine. I like Spider Gwen in the movie. She saves Peter and Miles in a scene, where they're escaping Doc Ock, female Doc Ock. I thought, okay, I guess because it's an animated film, they could do something different. It was At least it was no feminism in the movie. Uh, Mashahar Ali, he played Aaron Davis, Miles's uncle, and the Prowler, which is basically a villain. You know what he looks like? I'm not kidding. When I watch this, he looks like a mix between Spawn and Deadpool. Yeah, he has like Spawn's cape costume and Deadpool's mask. It was really creepy, like it really freaky. And I thought he did a good job. I mean, he just won an Oscar, I think, for like Green Book, and he's really good. He sounds, his voice matches the character, and it really works. You also have Lily Tomlin, a legendary comedic actress, as Aunt May. She was awesome. She was barely in it though, compared to the live action Sam Raimi movies and the two with Garfield and the one with Tom Holland so far. Lauren Velez as Rio Morales. She was just there. She's a nurse. She speaks some Spanish and then she's gone. She's not really a deep character, so you could have put her as a cameo and then that's it. If they put Miles into the MCU, You don't really need her. You just need his uncle and maybe his dad, and that's it. Because Miles is more black than he is Hispanic. I mean, his last name is a giveaway, but he acts more like an African American man. He reminds me of my friend Josh, who also probably reviewed this movie. He was not looking forward to this. This was a nice surprise because it's an MCU movie that was. It's not a. It's an unofficial MCU movie that's animated, and it worked. And it's under 2 hours, so it's just a little long in the middle. Like there's parts where it drags, where he goes to like a cemetery and he meets. Spoiler, by the way, I'm going to say some spoilers. He sees Peter Parker, the blonde Peter Parker that gets killed in the beginning by the Kingpin, voiced by who is it? I think it's Leaf Schreiber. Yeah, he did a good job. I thought his design was a little weird. It was like he's like this, but it's an animated film. You can't exactly get everything flesh and blood. It wasn't motion capture; it was CGI animated. You also had Nicolas Cage was great. I love as Spider-Man Noir, the black and white trench coat wearing hat wearing Spider-Man. He was cool. He brought like a nostalgic film noir feel to the movie. But the one that stole the show in the into of all the other uh, incarnations was Spider-Ham. He killed me in the movie theater. I was watching this in college and I was laughing my ass off. He's a great character. He's very funny. He's very charming. He's like a Looney Tunes character, but like on speed, and he's hilarious. What was it? Spider-Ham. Yeah, Peter Porker. That was a great character. Like, there's a scene in near the end when the trippy animation comes and he hits this guy and he says, "Does that feel like a cartoon?" And I was laughing. I was clapping. That was really funny. See, Marvel, nobody does it better, man. Zoe Kravitz, she played Mary Jane Watson. She did a good job, but she's not in the film that much. You had Kamiko Glenn as Penny Parker. Is basically an anime version of Peter Parker. If it was a girl, an Asian girl inside of a cool robot. And as a fan of anime and robots from Japan, I loved it. I thought it was a really cool design. She's a telepath, like Jean Grey. So fuck you, Dark Phoenix. You're not going to be better than this movie. Just a little nod there. Catherine Hahn played Olivia Octavius, so she's not Doctor Otto Octavius. So it made sense why she's a female. Chris Pine was Peter Parker. Lake Bell was Vanessa Fisk. I don't know who that is. Yeah, Norman Osborn. There's a lot of characters. One villain I didn't care for in the movie was the way they did Scorpion. I thought he was done better in the '90s cartoon and in the freaking his small part in Homecoming. I thought he was much better. Here, he just speaks Spanish. That's his whole freaking gimmick. He speaks Spanish and there's subtitles, and I'm like, this isn't funny. This is really forced. And I'm like, I don't remember Scorpion being Spanish. I saw the cartoon. He was green, had a big tail, and he has like a voice like this. I don't remember him speaking Spanish. That was a weird writing choice. Um, like I said, the film, the action scenes are fantastic in animation. When Miles turns invisible, the first time he gets a red Spider-Man suit, when he's learning how to swing, and when he's getting tips from the other Spider people, it's really cool. Like this is basically what the Lego sequel should have been this year, where you have all these other characters from different dimensions and different places, and they come together, and it actually makes sense, and it's not stupid kiddie fare. This movie gets dark sometimes. It's not just a kids movie. Like there's some moments where I was like, "Wow, this movie's darker than I could have imagined." And and Lord and Miller signed a 5-year deal with Sony Pictures to create an animated Marvel television series and a possible based on the Into the Spider-Verse series. Yeah, I would like that. Miles is a likable character. He is a lead that I can go for. Not just because he's a guy. No, because he's likable and we relate to him. And there's a scene with his father where he's trying to protect himself. He doesn't want to tell his dad that he's the new Black Spider-Man, and he wants to express himself. And when he hugs him at the end, you buy it. And I will say this. This is going to sound controversial, but I will say this. Black people, most of them, know how to express emotion. Yeah. Baenga, freaking take notes. You can say express yourself because these people went through a lot of things. They went through a lot. I know. I'm part black, so I know. And to see them on screen when they're showing emotion and when his father finds out that his brother died, that's deep, man. I was like, wow, this is a cartoon for kids. Excuse me. I need some water. Um, I need some water. I'm getting a little dry. Yeah, and I felt it. They know how to express themselves a lot. especially people like Jamie Foxx and Beyonce and freaking Jennifer Hudson when she was fat and she did Dreamgirls. Anika Nani Rose in Princess and the Frog. Halle Berry, freaking Whoopi Goldberg. And yeah, people that said that Black Panther was a freaking Me Too movement or whatever. No, it wasn't. It was actually really good, and the acting was the reason why I cried in the theater twice. Twice, guys. I just have this connection with those people. That's why a lot of the Burt Packers were, very interracial, and I like that. It's good. That's progression. Not let's force a gay agenda. Let's force a freaking feminist agenda. Let's force this. Let's force that. No, if it works, it'll speak for itself. And this movie did that. Tevya and Anthony and Josh and Jacquez can agree with me on that. And just Miles is very likable. He could have easily been a prick, but he wasn't. He was, and I do want to see him in the MCU. And I guarantee you this: Far From Home, I bet one of the post credit scenes is going to have Miles in it as like a, hey Peter, my name is Miles Morales. People are going to go crazy. Say that alone, and people are going to be invested. Because in the first one, in Homecoming, I know that's different from this, but it's the same, universe. They showed his uncle, Aaron Davis. What was it? What's his face? From Solo. What was it? Not John Glover. Damn it. What's his name? Donald Glover. He was in the film, and he said, "I have a nephew." There you go. It's an Easter egg. They can build up to Miles in the next movie where he can replace Peter if anything happens to him, like in this movie, and it works. His suit is cool. The black suit, it looks like the Venom costume. It's really cool. And Venom wasn't in this movie. See, you can do it right, guys. I don't want to see Tom Hardy in this. It's gonna be weird. And the film, like it was well paced, well, mostly in the beginning. I thought it slowed down a bit. I mean, the scene where he's talking to Gwen is like, "Hey, yeah, that was funny." There was a lot of humor that made me laugh. Uh, and like I said, Miles following his journey, it was different from Peter Parker. It wasn't a copy and paste like the Amazing Spider-Man was for for Andrew Garfield. No, it was a different story, different character, a new direction. He lives in Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn, so that's a nice nod. Even though I was born in Staten Island, but it still counts. And yeah, I liked him. I like that he was in a boarding school, and he had trouble making friends. His powers are way different than Peter's. It's not just the webbing; he can also turn invisible when he listens. He clears his mind. His suit looks different. He has a hoodie on. I get it. It worked, and this movie was really good. But like I said, the trippy animation at the end, where they're going into the different dimensions on the train and all that, it was a little bit too much for my eyes. It was like Doctor Strange, except it was a lot longer. The scene where he's flying in space and he sees his hands and little fingers and all that. That was good because it was very short. It wasn't like for 10 minutes. At the end, yeah, I just thought that it was, a little too much for me. But the film as a whole was well done. And there wasn't anyone in the cast who were like, oh, great, they got this actor in here. Like Garfield was in the Amazing Films. Or Felicity Jones in the second one, who did nothing with her and her beaver teeth. It's like, hey, what's your name? And she's like, Felicia. And I'm like, oh my God. And I know my friend Eric loves Felicia, and Black Cat. She wasn't in this film, and it's fine. It's not needed. I mean, she's gonna be used in the MCU one day. Just cast her right. Don't ever get a reject from the KK Wars because it's not gonna work. But anyway, this movie worked very well. Miles, very likable. The animation is very good for most of it. It's CGI. The soundtrack's really good. The acting is mostly solid. Some characters got underused, and I don't like the trippy animation at the end, but the second time watching it, I'll probably get used to it. And it's a great Marvel movie. If you have kids and they're old enough, I think they can watch this. There's not too much blood or cursing or anything. It's pretty basic, and it's like if they took the '90s series and they put Miles in it instead of Peter as the lead, and it works. And I hope that there's a sequel, because but done well. And this time, avoid the multi-dimensional thing at the end. Just make it simple. Make the animation fluid like the Lego Movie. I don't want to feel like I'm tripping on acid or LSD, because that's hard. It's hard to watch a movie like that. A lot of Marvel movies are like that. Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, and even some of Endgame was a little bit trippy. But yeah, this movie, while this is not Endgame, it's still a great freaking animated film. And my friends will agree with me that, yeah, what a surprise. I was not expecting much from an animated film, that Spider-Man movie that did not have Peter Parker as the lead. It was someone new, but it worked. It's very likable, and he's capable enough to helm his own film, and maybe in the MCU he'll have his own film, and I would love that. That would be fan service done right. But thanks, guys, for watching my first movie of movies for the past 100 years. If you have not seen this film, see it. It's definitely worth a watch. And the post-credit scene, it was okay. With the 60s Spider-Man cartoon, I saw that as a kid. Yeah, it was all right, but it's no MCU ending. But this is a good one. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next review.